Welcome everyone to the Reinvestment Zone number 3 meeting. I want to call this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Chairman Mike Pesley.
Here.
Board members Roland Barrera.
Here.
Sylvia Campos. Here. Rudy Garza is absent.
Anybody want to read any of my text messages this morning? Anybody? Would you like to read some? Oh, I'll give you a whole bunch of them. You're welcome to read them anytime you want to. All right, we'll move on to item D, minutes for the meeting.
I move for approval.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? Second. We have a second. All those in favor?
So we jump over to the actual column here on this slide, and we started the fiscal year 2024 fund balance with about 7.9 million. Revenues for the fiscal year 2024 amounted to about 3.6 million. Expenditures as of September amounted to about 3.1. This does leave an ending fund. We have about 3.1 million of expenditures. This leaves our balance available for commitments at the end of 2024 of 8.3 million. Coming into the 2025 line, we have budgeted revenues of about 3.5 million. We have a schedule of contracts and commitments, which is where we determine the 1.8 million from. We have about 3.8 million budgeted in admin and other expenses for fiscal year 2025. This does leave us a fund balance available for commitments of about 6.3 million. For fiscal years 26 through 2028, we keep our revenues flat at 3.5 million conservatively. Our current and future incentives are based on the existing agreements as of September 30th, and they range from 2.4 million, 1.6 million, 2.4 million. And then we leave our admin and other expenses flat. These are recurring expenses for the TIRZ. This then leaves you a fund balance for future years of about 5.4 million in 2026, 5.4 million in 2027, and about 4.6 million in fiscal year 2028. Now, the next few slides have a list of all our commitments that roll up to that schedule. So we'll just kind of highlight some of these. We do have quite a few. We start with project-specific development. These are based on growth and revenues. And so we have a total commit of 2.7 million. The largest one here being ZJZ Hospitality Incorporated of 1.5. We do also have targeted vacant property improvement commitments for a total of 1.2 million for the next couple of years. Here we have TIRZ Corpus LLC at 465,000, YC Texas Hotel LLC at 775,000. We have Downtown Living Initiative commitments amounting to about 3.5 million for fiscal years 25 through 2028. Here we have 464,000 committed to 1001 North Water Street LLC. We have 3 million committed to 416 North Chaparral Street LLC. We also have a handful of commitments for the commercial finish out, which we have about $150,963 committed there. We also have about 2.4 million committed for streetscape and safety improvement program. We have about 2.4 million committed there. The highest there listed is about 1.3 million in YC Texas Hotel LLC. And we have $1 million committed for rooftop activations from fiscal year 2025 through fiscal year 2026. $1 million committed to CMP Monarch LP. That concludes my presentations, and I'll take any questions.
Questions, board members? Anyone? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you much.
Appreciate it. We need an executive session. Do we? Mm-hmm. We do? It's on the agenda, do you?
If you need it. Yeah, there's one on the agenda.
Yeah, we have the executive session posted if we needed to. I think we had been in an executive session the last 2 meetings, and so we wanted to go ahead and move forward with the presentation, if possible, in open session. If there are questions that do arise from the presentation, we can go into executive session if those are sensitive type questions.
So you're ready to move to item G?
Yes.
Okay, G4? Okay. And that's an motion to approve the downtown development agreement with C&P Monarch LP for improvements to property located at 1102 South Shoreline Boulevard for a total initiative amount not to exceed $5 million effective upon signature by the city manager or designee. Morning, sir.
Morning, Arturo Marquez, Director of Economic Development. And today what we're going to be going over is the proposal of doing an incentive package for Hotel Indigo. Okay. So just to give you a brief history on the project, or actually just an oversight on the project, it is located at 1102 Shoreline Boulevard. And back in September 2023, the first phase of the renovation was approved, which does include the South Tower, and it's currently being, actually, it now has been completed, and it's now open as Holiday Inn Express. Okay. The owner plans to renovate the remaining portion of the hotel into a 222-room hotel with full service, and we are looking at flying the flag, or they're looking at flying the flag of Indigo. There are some interior improvements included, which include the renovation of the guest rooms, the common areas, the lobby, meeting rooms, including a new fitness center and 3 restaurant concepts. That is going to be something that's going to be added on that is not currently there. A virtual game room, a new rooftop bar, and some of the exterior improvements that do include the improvements of the facade, a new entrance canopies, new signage, roof repair, landscaping, security cameras, parking lot repairs, a new pool, and an outside bar. Now, the total project cost for this one, we're looking at $33.5 million in total investment, and we are suggesting an incentive package of $5 million. Broken down here is $2.9 under streetscape, $1 million on the rooftop activation program, and $1 million and some change with project-specific development agreement. The project is intended to be completed by May of 31st of 2027. And we'll go over in details as to a little bit more of the breakdown in a little bit. Before that, I just want to give a quick history on the actual hotel itself. It was erected back in 1965, and it was known as the Wilbur Clark's Crest Hotel. And then it switched name 4 years later into the Holiday Inn Emerald Beach in 1969. In 1977, it received its major upgrade with a $2.3 million expansion, which added an additional 144 rooms. It also included a new conference and convention center, a banquet kitchen, a restaurant, an indoor recreation center, and it became one of the largest hotels in Corpus Christi. Later in the 1980s and 1990s, there was more additional updates, which included the guest room, fitness center, gift shop, game room, outdoor bar, exterior facade improvements, and conversion of the outside pool to an indoor pool with a roof cover. And I mention all this because, of course, 1977 was a while back, so there hasn't been any major improvements since then. So which takes us into the current condition of the hotel. And you can see by these pictures, some of these things definitely need major improvements since they haven't been done since the 1970s, 1980s. Same thing, if we look at the exteriors, we can see that the parking lot, of course, needs some renovations. Some of the facade definitely can use some improvements, and the overall aesthetic of the hotel can definitely benefit out of an improvement. Now, about the brand itself, Hotel Indigo, it is an international brand, and it's located at least within 20 countries, of which 70 of those cities are here in the U.S., which include your major metropolitan areas like Atlanta, Dallas, L.A., St. Louis, New York, El Paso. They do provide a full-service upscale amenities, and they, of course, are not only enjoyed by tourists, but also by locals alike. They do tend to, cater a lot to the locals to try to do what's called a staycation, so that they don't necessarily have to travel, but they can still, benefit out of having a new hotel here. And that's specifically more prevalent with the 3 restaurants that, again, are being included in this design. Okay. So here are some pictures of the renovations, what they would look like at the end of the project. And based on prior history, the developer really, stood to their cue as far as what the improvements are going to look like, which we saw in the Holiday Inn Express when those pictures were shown to the board and the final outlook of the project. So again, here's just some concepts, some designs, some colors, some of the aesthetics that are going to be happening here at the hotel. And lastly, again, just some final pictures of what the interior and some of the amenities would look like, very beach vibe type of setting. So in this project, it will be one of the largest investments in the downtown area. And of course, this board being the TIRZ board, one of the things that we want to see is these larger scale improvements that impact the tax base. So it is going to be a major redevelopment on a premier waterfront property. It is within walking distance of two major city assets, which are McGee Beach and, of course, Cole Park. And, of course, IHD, and specifically with Indigo, they do have a higher elevated standard of services and amenities. So that is going to be a benefit to the community. Okay. And as I mentioned, just a quick breakdown, the incentive is broken down into three different categories. The first one would be streetscape safety improvements, which will be a total incentive amount of $2,951,138. The rooftop activation program, which would be $1 million, and the project-specific development agreement program would be $1,048,862, which amount to $5 million. Now, I do want to point out that this is a little bit different from other programs that we've done in the past, and the reason why I mentioned about the TIRZ earlier is because what we want to make sure is that the TIRZ continues to receive funding, that it continues to receive property taxes. So one of the things that we're doing differently on this agreement is that we are setting a minimum appraised value. So what that means is that here you'll see it on the line, third to last line on the slide, we're setting a minimum appraised value of $28,488,000. So once this hotel reaches that threshold, it means that they cannot contest below that. It means that it assures the TIRZ will continue to receive at least some portion of property taxes. So that is something new that we're adding to these contracts to make sure that we are, or that the TIRZ continues growing and has additional funding for future projects. Okay. As I mentioned, the completion date will be in 2027, so it is a two-year project, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Okay. Board members, questions? Jim, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, first of all, where is the...
You want to pull your mic down? Somebody will turn his mic on. They don't allow me to. The mayor made sure I couldn't push any buttons.
Okay, is that okay? Where's the developer on the $33 million? Is that solid financing that
Yes.
we have reviewed, either their bank debt, equity capital? How are they doing this?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually provided some paperwork on the last executive session
Okay.
showing proof that they do have the funding
I
available.
recall that. Is all that still solid?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes. Ms. Campos? Board Member Campos?
Thank you. Thank you, Arturo, for the presentation, and thank you for putting in that clause about the appreciation of the property to, looking out for us, the taxpayers. One of the things is how much of it is going to be access for the public?
It didn't work last time.
Like, we're investing $5 million, and I know it's been covered before, but I think it would help the public to know what we get back, as far as access to the property.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is just more of a personal example. So I worked in a similar deal in El Paso, and one of the things that really was very beneficial for the Indigo Hotel over there is that they use the restaurants and the rooftop bar for, again, serving the people in the community. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just strictly for tourists.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a lot of marketing material that goes out there to the public to try and get those people from within the community to go and utilize those amenities. So, the restaurants and the rooftop bar and, of course, the beach will also still be very much available to the public. And, in fact, if anything, we encourage people from the community, within the community, to go in and benefit and use those facilities and use those restaurants.
Okay, so right now, so basically it's the rooftop restaurant and the restaurant itself. There's no other, because the pool's gone, right? Or will be, no?
Yeah, the pool will remain. Yeah, in fact, if anything, it will go from an indoor pool into an outside pool.
Okay,
So the rooftop will be removed from that.
okay. All right. That's all I have right now.
You have a question?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, the last few times we've discussed this, this is the first ever 5-star resort hotel in Corpus Christi.
It is not a resort, but it is a higher scale hotel.
I didn't think it was a resort, but that's what we had promoted on these.
I'm sorry?
It's going to be all enclosed, and it'll be
Yeah.
5 stars, but we will still reach all 5 stars. We will have all the amenities to obtain all 5 stars, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
If not, we have
Well, we were told it was 5. Councilman, you said it was 4. Is it 4 or 5?
We can definitely look into it.
A star makes a big difference. It does.
It does.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
definitely a minimum of
that's
4.
what we voted on the first time around, so kind of need to know that.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I make a comment?
Mayor?
Okay. To his point, so I think it's, number one, right, define 4 stars, define 5 stars.
Right.
And for the public knowledge, tell us what full service means, because I think that's kind of a big, and I don't know how that goes in line with 4 stars or 5.
Yeah.
Because 5 stars are pretty big.
Yeah, so the full service and the star rating really depends on the amenities. You know, you access to
Oh,
a
okay.
pool, access to a rooftop bar, access to, walkable, areas and all that. So again, it goes, I want to say like it really depends. But in the rooms, like, do you have a microwave in your room? Do you have, a TV in your room? Do you have,
Right.
kitchenette and all that? So that's really what it,
But what is this one?
this one is considered full service.
So no stars. We don't reference stars. I just want to make sure, because it makes difference when you tell people, it's a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
Are they going to provide room service?
I understand.
Right. That's full
Actually, a
service.
hotelier educated me on the process is that stars is kind of like slang, and a lot of travel websites utilize that whenever they're rating hotels, but it's actually like the level of service that is deemed by the hotel companies. So this is a full-service hotel. It'll include laundry, which is the thing I believe that the Omni is missing that prevents it from being a full-service hotel.
Spa.
And then it'll have an additional resources like restaurants, rooftop, and things along those lines.
Does
that make sense?
Room service,
Room
Also a
service.
spa and stuff.
And a spa. Okay.
Spa.
Basically, if you are, sorry.
workout center.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Does that answer the question?
5 stars is a big difference between a 4-star.
Yeah.
And we were told it was going to be a 5-star.
I don't know if, I didn't
Haven't been
find
reported.
5-star in the presentation, so I don't know if that's been used like casually to reference the hotel. I don't believe that would have been language that came from us.
5-star guarantees that they will have to provide all of those amenities.
I think, are there, does the agreement, so the hotel company, IHG, requires them to provide these things, and then additionally, I don't know if in the agreement there's levels of service that we explicitly require,
Not necessarily.
or if we could
No,
add
no.
that,
I mean, we definitely,
we could add that,
but it's still up to IHG.
IHG, which is the international brand.
I was just wondering because it hasn't been in the reports.
Well, does each hotel chain have its own definition of what a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star?
Well, I believe they use service levels. So I think, again, stars is something that's used on travel websites whenever you're looking at reviews, like people will star the hotel. But I don't know if, that again, a hotelier is the one that educated me on that when I was using the star
I'll
terminology.
explain it if you want me to, Councilman.
So the 5-star situation is basically how many amenities they offer, how many services they offer. And if you are 4 to 5, there's a big difference. 5 guarantees you that they will offer the full services plus extra. So we just need to make sure that they're going to do that. I mean, last I spoke to them, they were, but I just haven't seen it in the presentation. And this is a good opportunity to say this is a first, because I don't think we've ever had a 5-star full-service hotel in Corpus. So I think y'all need to know that 5-star on a rating system from TripAdvisor and stuff like that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, by the way. I'm talking about the official hotel standards of a 5-star hotel. So we do need to know that. I think that's important because that's what we voted on the first time.
So we took off some of the amenities, but we're keeping the same amount of money.
So just for clarifications, Rupak just confirmed that is a 4-star hotel. Yeah.
So again, I think reiterating, I don't know that we ever said a 4 or 5 star. What we said was full service. So this is a full service hotel. It has room service, it has laundry, it has a spa, it has the restaurant amenities, pool amenities, fitness center amenities, those type of things. So I think in all of our presentations, I don't know that we referred to 4 or 5 star, but we referred to it as a full service hotel, which is the first full service hotel that we will have had within the city, because Omni doesn't, like I said, I think there's 1 or 2 things that Omni doesn't provide that qualifies it as a full service hotel.
Okay, any other questions? Board Member Hernandez, are you done? Michael?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for my tardiness here, but had to take care of something. Hotel Indigo is a full-service boutique hotel.
Correct.
The difference between a 4-star hotel and a 5-star hotel is the amount of luxury facilities it has. The amenities are the same, except it's a more luxurious or higher upgraded features than a 4-star hotel, but the amount of amenities is the same. It's just the difference in luxury. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to have a 4-star hotel, or 5-star hotel you generally reserve for cities like New York, Washington D.C., like Trump Plaza in Washington D.C., where you can buy a 65-year-old bottle of scotch for $60,000. Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to do that here, right? So it's sorry, I'm a scotch guy. So
That's right.
So I think we're worried about the small things, but I think having a new 4-star hotel in downtown Corpus Christi is still a good thing for us as a community, and I support the project. Thank you.
Okay, Board Member Roy?
Excuse me, I'm getting over some laryngitis. So, the only thing I wanted to mention is Councilmember Campos stated is that what she was asking about, what are the benefits? And I just want to remind everybody that there is, and I think it's a 400 occupancy capacity banquet room that they have, which I think is a wonderful additional item that can serve the community. Right. On the other things that we mentioned, I think having that large banquet space is going to be something that's going to be really good, because it gives you another option outside of the Solomon Ortiz, the American Bank Center, and then you can have a pretty large, 400 seated conference room there on site.
Correct.
So I just wanted to add that that's another plus that I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And plus, it's really right next to the beach, so yeah, most definitely.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agreement. I just had one quick question on the payout.
Yes, sir.
That we've, if you could go back to that page where it demonstrates the payout, are those payouts going to be done simultaneously, or is it going to be as the...
So some of them will overlap, but ultimately, as you can see on the first one, that one's actually done in 6 equal payments for the streets.
So you've got 2 different stanches that are going to be paid out over 6 equal payments. Is there going to be overlap between those 2?
Between those 2, yeah, we might see some overlap, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can financially carry that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I had. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other questions, board members? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll move to G5. Motion to approve the downtown development agreement with Furman Foundry LLC for improvements to the property located at 418 Peoples Street for a local incentive amount not to exceed $8,975, effective upon signature by the city manager or his designee.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Any questions, board members? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, item G6, motion to approve a First Amendment to the TIRZ Number 3 Downtown Development Reimbursement Agreement with Thirsty Corpus Christi LLC for the property located at 1002 North Chaparral, which provides the developer with an extension for the completion date from December 30, 2024 to June 30, 2026, effective upon signature of the city manager designee. We have a motion and a second for approval. Any questions, board members? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll move to item number, I'm sorry. Oh. I'm sorry.
I think Jim has a question.
Do you have a question?
Jim?
Do you have a question, Jim?
No. Okay.
I'm sorry. No. Yeah. Okay, we'll move to item number 7, motion to approve the Second Amendment to the TIRZ Number 3 Downtown Development Reimbursement Agreement with Buccaneer Commission Incorporated for the property located at 1415 North Water Street, which amends the payout schedule effective upon signature by the city manager.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval. Second. Third.
We have a motion and a second by Councilman Roy. I think beat you, Michael.
I think you did.
So, any questions, board members? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Presentation items, DMD updates.
Yes, sir. Elizabeth Mason, Executive Director, Downtown Management District. So in addition to facilitating economic development through our incentive programs, the DMD manages a number of programs and projects in order to make improvements to the downtown area. So this is an update on some of those items. If I could have the next, can I do that here? I can do that. So in placemaking, we have completed the installation of a fence around Artesian Park. This does not include gates, so it maintains access to Artesian Park, but it helps us manage the ingress and egress through the park and standardize and keep eyes on those entrances. So we have created a number of improvements in the park that have been damaged to various degrees. So by kind of managing and defining the border and consolidating traffic to the actual entrances and exits to the park, that's going to enable us to have better grasp on the activity going in the park and also program the park to a higher degree. We also made improvements to La Retama Park to protect some flower beds that we have installed that really add a high amount of aesthetic value, but have been getting trampled by pedestrians and dogs. So we've closed those off. Those were always intended to be planted flower beds, and so we went ahead and did that and to enable us to manage those spots better. We completed holiday installations in La Retama Park. This is a historic site, the site of the first City Hall, and also a La Retama Library. So we are trying to go through and just do activations for the holiday time, a festive time during the year when downtown has a lot of visitors. We want to go ahead and kind of make the statement that downtown is cared for and programmed and looked after in order to attract more investment and additionally create more activity for the community to be excited about. So the holiday installations include a Katrina. We have the same structure that we used for the Port of Corpus Christi tree in La Retama Park. We've actually augmented that. Our team worked really hard to work with some creatives in the community and actually turn it into a thing called a Katrina, which goes along with the Dia de los Muertos celebration. So we were able to get 2 holidays utilized out of that one structure. And then the tree is up, available for photos for families for their Christmas photos at this time. So that's ready to go. And thank you to the council members that were able to attend the lighting. That was a really well-attended event as well on November 6th. We also do lights in Artesian Park. So again, these are some of the improvements that I mentioned that we make in the park, but we have trouble managing them. We kind of go through this cycle of trying to make sure the lights aren't cut and the lights aren't removed. So having that fence around the park will enable us to have a better handle on managing, keeping these improvements operational. But we really think it's a wonderful investment for the oldest park in the city and the 3rd oldest park in the state of Texas. So it's a really historic site that should be iconic for our community. And all these most of these improvements also are funded by our advisory council. So this is actually corporate contributions that pay for, in large part, either in partnership with the TIRZ or exclusively for these improvements. So that's something of note, but we do just want to make sure that you all are aware that we're doing this. Additionally, on Chaparral Street in the 1960s, the Chamber of Commerce launched Peppermint Lane. So we recreated that in 2018, and we do this every year. So these improvements are also supported by a Sunday market. We close the street, and we have vendors out on the street really trying to drive retail shopping in downtown and try to get our retail stores open during that time as well. And then, of course, the HEB Christmas tree, the 60-foot tree on the waterfront installation has begun. We have volunteer ornament placement on the 22nd of this week. And then the tree installation will be complete. The star will be put on December 2nd. And then the lighting ceremony is on December 7th. So this is something that we inherited from Visit Corpus Christi. Visit Corpus Christi, I think, inherited it from the city a number of years ago. So we're just trying to keep this tradition alive to make sure that our community has a really nice tree to celebrate the holiday season. And economic development, we just wanted to kind of provide a FY24 wrap-up status of all of the projects we have underway. So we're currently managing 16 individual agreements with various projects throughout the downtown area. So for the next few months, we'll just be focusing on getting these projects to their next milestone so that we can continue the progress downtown. And then additionally, we provided a calendar for all of the activities that our promotions team, again, not a TIRZ funded activity, but an activity important nonetheless, for the holiday season, so that you're welcome to come out and enjoy it and show the community support for all of these activities. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Board Member Guajardo.
Thank you. I just want to thank y'all. I think you and your team, the lighting of the port tree was, like you said, well attended, and just everything's always done so well. Very organized and just all the details. So thank you. And I know, congratulations on your new baby, the new mom. And so I know you've been very busy with all of that, and everything is still just going super smoothly. And that's because of the great team you have.
Our team has definitely stepped up to make sure everything's seamless. So
they have. And all of this is very impressive, Alyssa. Thank you for all of this that you're adding. I mean, you always do every year, but it's so important to the community, and you keep us apprised of everything. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
thank you to the team.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Campos.
Thank you, Chairman. Actually, this question goes to Peter. I had asked about the thing on the shoreline, the stormwater catchment, because it's right where the tree is going to be. So do we have an update on that?
Yeah, I'll get you one this morning, Councilwoman. I don't have that right now.
Okay.
We did move the tree to the other side of the park.
What was that?
Yes. So the tree frame is under construction, and it is on the other side of the park. Parks and Rec was proactive in giving us that information before and making those improvements so that we were able to kind of accommodate that construction. I don't know what condition it'll be in for the lighting itself, but we were able to, the lighting is when there's the most people. Otherwise, I think the traffic is pretty manageable with the construction project.
Okay. The other, I don't know if you already do this, but is there like an art, where you have people, an opportunity where people say it's here in Corpus Christi and they put their heads in there, and do you have that?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I don't know if it says Corpus Christi, but I know it definitely recognizes HEB as the sponsor. We can go and double check on that and see if we can maybe add a sticker or something that identifies it. But we do have a photo frame and a photo op with just exactly the right angle to make sure you can capture the tree.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I just had a couple of things real quickly, Alyssa. Number one, let's continue to encourage our scooter partners to make sure they keep their scooters picked up and we don't end up with things thrown around the streets. I've seen a couple of those here lately.
Yeah, I think the Economic Development Department manages the scooter program.
Okay, whoever.
Okay.
And maybe next TIRZ meeting, you can bring a list of those corporate sponsors and we can recognize them appropriately.
Sure. Yes, sir.
I think that would be a nice thing to do.
Absolutely.
And then the calendar that you're producing, I think it'd be really nice, Peter, if we get that to our communications director so that they can put that out as well.
No problem.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I had. Thank you. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Thank you.
If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.